Good morning. How are you? Well, we're going to do this video a little bit more casual than usual. Get some lights turned on in here. We're going to take a look at the TwoTrees SK1, which has already been out there for a couple of months. We've had it for a couple of months. There's a lot of reviews out on YouTube if you haven't watched those yet. But we printed with it, not a whole heck of a lot, but enough to understand, what it is. And but we're gonna get it thrown up here on the bench. It's early, I'm tired, but I'm gonna get an energy drink in me, and we'll just do this a little bit more casual. All right, so let me get that machine in here, or at least I'll call for it, and then I'll get mic'd up. Hey Van, you wanna grab that TwoTrees SK1? Bring it up here. All right, I'll get mic'd up. Check. 1, 2, we got audio? Good, all right. So now we're mic'd up here in the studio, and this is the TwoTrees SK1. I'm gonna wipe it down here before we get started. Yeah, and then matter of fact, it's been so long, I don't even recall all the specs. So let's get it wiped down first. We'll take a look at it, and then let's bring up the specs, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So there's a little print we had on it last time it was in the studio here. Let's get that build plate cleaned off. It's a pretty machine. Okay, so let me get some energy drink in me, and let's plug it in, and then let me grab a laptop here, and let's take a look at the website. Let's read the specs on it, and then I don't know. We'll slice something up, or we'll start a print. Some energy drink in the morning feels good. All right, so let's get this thing plugged in. Now, this particular machine, I remember it's loud. And I remember that we had this during a live stream. And I specifically remember it being so loud during the live stream that I was happy when it finished the print. Because it was so loud that I couldn't even think. I couldn't read chat, hear things going on in the live stream, and have this machine a couple of feet from my head. So, so we'll see exactly how it goes. So this machine for sure is not gonna be one that you're gonna want in a place where you're sleeping or if you're very sensitive to sound. But other than that, the machine it was great, I remember. So, and it looks like I may have broke the filament off in the PTFE tube here. So, we have to address that. Yeah, we'll have to address that. Okay, power this thing. Oh, do I want to power it on? It's so loud. Here we go. I don't think I'm plugged into the wall. There we go. I swear I've plugged in a 3D printer before. I swear, I promise. All right, well, we're powered up. Booting up right now. So let's, while it's doing that, let's bring over a machine and let's take a look here at what we got. Screen recording going, cancel. Okay, here we go. Let's just take a look at TwoTrees SK1. Let's head over to their official website. All right, so, interesting. Okay, so one thought I had is that I'm making this video after the Sobel SVO8 was released. And that really shakes things up, especially in this corexy world. And I was concerned that the TwoTrees SK1 would still be at its original pricing from several months ago, which was around $600. And so that does make me feel pretty good. I'm here at the website right now, and the price is showing $499. And I can almost promise you that that $499 may even come down lower, because ultimately this is a fantastic machine, right? I mean, it prints well, it's the great form factor, it's ready for panels, enclosures, things like that. It's a clipper machine, so you can kind of do anything you want with it. But ultimately, at $499, you're now at the same price that SV08. And that SV08 is a 350 millimeter, more or less boron 2.4. And so everything is changing so quickly in this space right now that I feel like value is what's really important. There's so many corexy machines kind of in this market that it's really going to come down to, well, value, right? So what you get for that dollar, but also brand. Brand is also important. And so the quality of the build and all that, we'll talk about that. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. So the TwoTrees SK1, they're showing on their website, it's about $499, and that's USD. And let's scroll down here, and let's take a look at the specs here. So build plate is going to be similar to a Bambu P1P, P1S, or X1 carbon at 256 millimeters cubed, so X, Y, and Z. Of course, it's got the Z tilt leveling, which is pretty cool. We like that. And this one, I remember the TwoTrees SK1 was boasting speeds up to 700 millimeters per second, which is kind of common with these corexy machines. So that's pretty neat. That's good. All right. I believe this has a hot end temperature of like 300 C. I don't recall what the bed is. 20,000 millimeters a second squared max acceleration. It's got the 4.3 inch touch screen. Great. Of course, it's got the PEI flexible steel sheet right here. I'm not seeing bed temperature. And maybe that's why I don't remember the bed temperatures, because I'm not quite sure. But we'll look at the interface. I'm sure it's 100 C, but we'll check. All right. So yeah, definitely Wi-Fi, and I believe it has Ethernet. Yeah, so Wi-Fi, Ethernet, 2 USB ports, got voltage selector on that side, kind of blowing, the power supply fan is blowing out the back. Nice drag chain up here on top. All right, so there's your base specs for this particular machine. Dimensions externally. Shoot, I'm gonna tell you what it says, but I like to use external dimensions in inches. That's just kind of my preference, but it's showing 400 by 400 by 530 millimeters tall. Well, we can do that conversion later. So I think what we should do is, we've got it cleaned. Let's change the filament or load filament, because I broke that off in the PTFE tube. I think what we're gonna do is, can we just push that filament through? Because I'm not gonna be able to unload that. Maybe we'll just can we just feed the filament through? So I think what we'll do is we'll just load that filament. Get some B-roll here. We're just loading this up. Loading the filament. It's at 240, so I think, yeah, we'll just tell it to load. We'll just feed that filament up. Rather than pull the screws on either side and pull the PTFE tube out of the hot end, I'm just gonna feed the filament through. So you can, let's see, we'll turn it this way. Can you see it? Can you see it right there doing its thing? So, and then we'll see, we'll throw some filament on it. What do we throw on it? We got some polymaker. Hey, someone's playing with the Twitch stream. Okay, so what we'll do is, let's go ahead and load some polymaker Polylite PLA Pro. Hit that a bunch more times. Okay, and while that's doing that, let's go ahead and let's jump over to printables. Let's find something nice and easy to slice up. And I don't even remember what slicer this uses. It's been so long. And I will bet that Orca Slicer has a TwoTrees SK1 in it. So let's go ahead and go to preview. Let's go add a, what is it? SK1? Nope, I was wrong. Yeah, nope. They have a TwoTrees SP5. Why don't they have the SK1 here? What? What? How do they not have the SK1? Is it Prusa Slicer? Which I don't even have. I don't even have Prusa Slicer on this machine. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and we'll see what profiles are on the USB key here. Last couple of inches of filament going in, and then we'll be nice and caught up. It says needs homed. No, it doesn't. Okay, I think we got it. We'll get Prusa Slicer installed. Download for the Mac. Don't really care. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. So, incidentally, this is going to be a little surprise. See how we're tangled, but we're connected, all right? So we're fed into the tube, and we've got a. It's wrapped under there about twice. I'm going to show you how to fix that. So what you're going to do? You're going to loosen the filament, right? Loosen it, and you're going to peel it off the side. See that? Grab any of that loose filament and just peel it right off the side. All of it. Grab it all. Go right off the side. Right, like this. Just like that. Now, once it's off the side, now, right? Now we can actually put the back on here the right way, and we didn't have to pull it off the printer, and we won't have jams and mess up prints. Look at that, fixed. Nice, huh? Yeah. So what you can't do is you can't just keep chasing it around the spool. You can't, because like people are like, oh, it's tangled, and they keep pulling it, and you're just sending that tangle back further and further and further, and eventually it's going to catch up with you. So the smart thing to do is grab it all, pull it off the side of the hub, right, and then wind it up the right way. Okay, so now we've got the right color filament coming out, and since it hasn't been running in a little while, we'll go through all the calibration on it. It's a pretty machine, you know what I mean? And it is kind of compact. Do I have a tape measure? I know we talked about millimeters earlier, but what are we at? Like just shy of 16 wide, just shy of 20 tall, about 20 tall. And with the spool, about 19 wide. And depth front to back is just shy of 16. So it's a pretty machine. It's not too big. Little Wi-Fi antenna here on the side. It's nice. It's a nice machine. I like it. All right, so we've homed. Perfect. Let's go over to settings. Let's kick over to the calibration tab. All right, and let's do the bed mesh. Let's do bed mesh on it. Okay, while that's happening, let me install a Prusa Slicer here. They do have a Prusa config. So let's download all their configs, and then we'll import it into Prusa Slicer. Okay, got it. Well, we got a profile. We got a profile now inside Prusa Slicer. All right, so we'll clean the build plate here in a moment. So here's what we can do is let's go ahead and grab a model. Like I said, let's jump over to printables. So I'm printing die, right? So your buddy Dinek did these really cool LM die, a whole big set of them, and we've been printing different ones. Like, I mean, there's little ones and we have big ones in different colors, but I thought, you know what? Let's do another one, except we'll just do it in red, but let's do it like a D10 here. So if I scroll down here, we'll find there is a D8. Let's do a D10. So we'll get that downloaded here. That won't take much but a second. Kick back over here into Prusa Slicer and drag that D10 out over here. Holy moly, it's huge. That's huge. Like 12 hours huge. Do we do 12-hour print on it? Well, if we do a 12-hour print, that means we won't be back until tomorrow, Sunday. 811 grams. Well, I don't have 811 grams on there, so we're shrinking it down. Let's kick back over here. Let's shrink that down scale-wise. What do we do? Like 60%? No, that was not 60%. That was 10,000 something. 60%? Okay, 60% is way more manageable. Let's do that instead. Slice, that's 3 hours. So we can be back in 3 hours. 15%, I don't even know what type of infill it's set to use. I guess we can take a look at that. Let's go to print settings, infill, grid. Grid's boring. And we'll make it adaptive cubic 15%. So it's loaded. It'll be heavier on one side. Won't be a functional die. Let's just go to, we're gonna just run a Prushment PLA. That's what we're gonna do. All right, sliced. And what are we showing? About 131 grams of filament, about 3 hours. I say we do it. So let's go ahead and export this G-code, send it over to, okay, got it. Ejected. We'll throw this in here and then we'll print. So here we go. All right, so we're gonna do a giant die and going USB, 3 hours and 13 minutes. It's that one right there. Print. Get a camera on it and get some B-roll of it printing, and we'll be back in 3 hours. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll kind of talk about this particular machine, the print quality, and the value. So see you in 3 hours. Okay, this is impressive. I just came in to film some B-roll, and this right here was printed like 2 months ago, and then the printer just sat on some boxes for the last, it gotta be 2 months, right? Probably. I am impressed. This right here, there is nothing wrong. It looks absolutely perfect. It's lifting off the bed in the front just because of adhesion. That's some glue stick, or I could have used a brim. But that is impressive. I turned the machine on. I went through all the calibration steps. I went through the Z-tilt. I went through the bed mesh, Z-offset, input shaping, and then I hit print. And I'm using, I believe, just like a Prushment PLA with this Polymaker PLA, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna say my whole mentality on this printer changed right now. It's loud. I'm having to talk louder in here because of it, but my whole opinion on this machine has dramatically changed in about the last 5 minutes sitting here watching this machine work. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll get you some B-roll when this thing is done. Wow. Let me just get some B-roll. Looks so good. Super impressed. Zoom in on it here. I'm really happy with that. That looks so darn good. No ringing, no ghosting. I mean, it just looks so good. Other than it coming off the build plate a little bit right there, that's just adhesion. The door was open, kind of opening and closing the door, and I think that cold air got in, or at least air blew across the build plate. But that looks really good. Super, super impressed with that print right there. Wow. Okay. Well, like I said, that changes my whole opinion of this SK1 right there. So good. All right, let's get it off the build plate. Oh, it's so good. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, looking at under some different lighting, I can see a bit of ringing right there. I don't really see it. Oh, I do see it on the fours right here. So that side down. It's not bad though. I think it looks really good. I'm quite impressed with that print. But ultimately, I think for $499 you're getting a Clipper corexy machine that's ultimately super capable. You can get in there and tune it and play with it and have some fun. That's a really great print, and yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a good buy to me. So 100C on the build plate, 300C on the hot end. It's got the whole Z-tilt thing going on, right? So it's got the 3 lead screws for leveling the bed. The interface is nice, that 4.3-inch touchscreen. Yeah, the only thing that I don't really care for, if I had to give it a negative, well, a couple of negatives, those would be, one, it's too loud. I just feel like the power supply fan in the bottom. Here, I'll put the mic down there. It's loud. And the second thing is, I'm not a fan of the way that the tool head shroud is attached. It's attached with multiple screws. So if you have a jam or anything like that, that's going to be a pain. You're going to have to be pulling all those screws off to get to that thing to get that PTFE tube out. I think other than that, I don't really have any negatives. It prints well, the interface is nice, and I think at $499, I think it's a decent value. I think ultimately you're probably going to see it come down to less than that. I think probably $449 would probably be a really good price for this machine, considering what else is on the market at this price range. And expect a scoring video soon. I'll score that and or score this machine and get it up on the website. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content, and it was a little bit different, a little bit more casual, and a more lengthy video. But I will see you on the next one.